Hi, everybody. Hope you had a good day. It's time to talk weather on this Friday. Pretty good update for you, I think, in terms of where we stand, largely focusing on this cold Arctic air mass that we're tracking for next week. I want to start real quick with this front coming in tonight because it's a good one. So I've got a couple of maps here, courtesy of KGW TV. This is KGW's Futurecast model at 2 a.m. overnight tonight. So this front comes in. Looks like it could start to produce some steady rain mid-evening up around Astoria and say Tillamook, 8, 9 o'clock. And then eventually late night, like 11 o'clock at the earliest, maybe not until midnight, even 1 a.m., we start to get this heavy, steady rain band moving in. Now, this is what the model is showing at 2 a.m. The heavy rain is in yellow and orange, absolutely a steady rain band. And then here's the snow picking up. Remember, this is the front that's going to drop snow levels down to 2,000 feet. Snow level already sitting at 3, so it will only have to drop a little ways. This will be rain through the gorge tonight, by the way. And also, number one, this rain could be heavy enough that it wakes you up tonight. Number two, I do expect some southwest gusts to at least 40 along the coast this evening into the overnight, and some south gusts at least to 30 here in the Willamette Valley. Now, this solid front will break up by daybreak as the front comes through, and then we'll be into scattered heavy showers on Saturday, including some hail, so which I've been talking about. The snow amounts should be good tomorrow up in the Cascades, going basically 8 to maybe 10 or even 12 at Government Camp at pass level, and then as much as 16 inches up at Government Camp. And again, the snow level falling down to 2,000 feet. So if you're going to go up there tomorrow, you will be in, I mean, the National Weather Service, last I checked, still had tomorrow's weather under a winter weather advisory, but they may upgrade that to a winter storm warning. I think it will be winter storm warning conditions, at least in the morning hours. Northwest winds 15 to 35 up there. Sunday, just some flurries to an inch or two. Monday, snow picks up. Snow level does jump to 5,000 feet in the afternoon. That's why there's the big variance here. 3 inches at Government Camp, then it becomes rain. 8 inches maybe all the way up at Timberline. And then notice Tuesday, this is the next big storm. A foot of snow potentially at pass level, 3,000 to 2,000 foot snow level. Another shot of good snow next Wednesday, 5 to 8, down to 2,000 feet. And we'll see accumulating snow on Thursday and a Friday up on the mountains as well. This is huge news. Timberline has just recently gotten their base up above 30 inches. So you look at all this snow that's going to be accumulating, and the resort should have enough snow for the most part to have full operations by next weekend. So wouldn't that be a nice change of pace? And of course, it's more than just fun for skiers and boarders. The snowpack is very important for our water storage, as you know. Another map courtesy of KGW TV. This was from earlier this morning. And it's basically showing the snow that starts tonight and then all the snowflakes that fall through Friday of next week up on Mount Hood at 5,000 feet could be 45 inches. So that would be terrific. And some of the modeling is going more like even 50 to 60. So we'll see. But no matter how you stack it up, feet of snow coming to the mountains with these low snow levels. And that's just terrific news. Obviously, if you're going to be traveling anywhere starting tomorrow, all the way through next week, you'll want to check conditions and expect snow-covered roadways and pretty slow travel up over the Cascades at times. Okay, one more map courtesy of KGW TV. If you don't know, I'm the morning meteorologist. You can catch my forecast on TV Monday through Friday mornings on their Sunrise show, which airs between 4:30 in the morning, pains me to say that, and 7 o'clock in the morning. All right, so when I worked this morning, I grabbed this. Everything in purple is the Arctic air mass. This is the Arctic air mass Sunday of next week. So a week from this Sunday. And notice the boundary this morning was projected to be all the way down through Las Vegas and almost into Los Angeles. Incredibly southern push, an incredible southern push of this Arctic air mass. Now, already this afternoon, the update has changed. The air mass now expected, the Arctic boundary, to slip only into Northern California, Northern Nevada, and at the farthest southward movement down into the San Francisco Bay Area. That's significant. It really is. Obviously, both projections would easily drop the Arctic air mass into our local area here in Washington. Okay. Yesterday when I talked to you, I mentioned the GFS model. A lot of you said, Rod, especially you folks that are viewing that live up in Seattle. Rod, you said our forecasters up in Seattle, and we've learned that the European's the most trustworthy model. Why don't you show it? I will tell you, I didn't show it yesterday because I thought it was unreasonably cold. And the European model, at times this winter season, has in fact been too cold. Now, with that said, the American GFS model, which I showed you yesterday, may have been too warm, and the models have come together somewhat today. I'm going to get into differences in a moment. But for right now, I am choosing to show you today the European model, which is not as cold as it was yesterday, but I like the features on it. So here we go. European model. Let's go ahead and jump to Thursday at 4 p.m. Confidence is pretty high that Thursday into Thursday night, somewhere in there is when this Arctic boundary drops south of the Columbia River, okay? So here it is Thursday afternoon. My blue line here is the Arctic air all the way down to the Arkansas-Louisiana border, and then across Idaho, and then potentially still just north of the Columbia River at 4 o'clock Thursday afternoon. Now, this is still really cold air. In fact, snow levels Thursday could be down close to 1,000 feet, even with the Arctic boundary to our north, okay? So this is Thursday, and most models agree with this. The Arctic air not fully into us by late Thursday afternoon. Let's see what happens, and we'll take a look again, the European model at 4 a.m. Friday. Now, here, follow my blue line. Here's the Arctic boundary now all the way through Portland and dropping into southern Oregon, down towards, well, getting close to the valley down in Medford. Now, here's the surface high of the Arctic air mass up in Canada, and here's the circulation around that high, which of course is anticyclonic coming in from the east. So now Friday morning, if this is correct, we are firmly in the Arctic air mass. We've got east winds, although maybe not that gusty, because when you're the way this front is orientated, it's very possible that the winds really won't be that strong right along the frontal boundary. Notice there are surface lows here. So there's reason to believe that there will be accumulating snow Thursday night and Friday morning. More on that in a moment. I want to show you one more snapshot. This is Saturday at 4 p.m. The Arctic boundary now, as I just showed you a moment ago, down pretty close to the San Francisco area. Notice this developing low. Not all, but some of the modeling is showing that we could get a little push of moisture, which would be snow Saturday night into Sunday. Although, remember, we still have this east wind. Is it possible that any moisture would literally be eaten up, kind of like Pac-Man, if you will, from an east wind? East winds, in fact, very dry air. This Arctic air is very dry air. And if you've ever lived in a cold climate, you know the old saying, hey, it's too cold to snow. And what that means is there is a point where the dew points are so low and the water vapor and the air mass is so limited that you can squeeze out some flurries, and that's really about it, okay? So not sure if this has a chance to produce any measurable precipitation if it develops into Sunday or not. The bigger story here is probably the cold weather Sunday at 4 p.m. All right, so here's what we know, okay? Let's take a look at what we know. Arctic front, all models say arrives somewhere between Thursday evening and into Friday morning. Pretty much all of them agree with that. Snow accumulation to some degree is likely. How much? It's really tough this far out to tell how much available moisture there's going to be. I'm going to tell you, in my mind, it's certainly possible that we wake up to 4 inches of snow Friday morning. It's certainly possible we wake up to more than that, but it's also possible that we wake up to just a dusting of snow on the ground Friday morning. I do like our chances, though, to wake up to at least some snow coverage on the ground Friday morning. Too early to guess amounts, as I just mentioned. Drying takes hold on most of the models Friday night into Saturday. So that's going to bring some sunshine. It's also going to allow the temperatures to really drop off like a rock. Remember, this is going to be very dry, very cold Arctic air. So valley low temperatures. Now, remember, if the east wind is blowing, the east wind will actually hold temperatures up a bit. There would be a bitterly cold wind chill, but it makes the temperature forecast this far out very difficult. So to me, what makes sense is we have a range going into Saturday morning here in the Willamette Valley in Southwest Washington, and even up into Seattle, between 12 and 20 degrees. Now, I will say Seattle has a chance to be even colder than these temperature ranges that I'm showing here. So 12 to 20 degrees, I would certainly favor the lower end of this range if you're watching from Seattle. Valley high temperatures, meaning the Willamette Valley in Southwest Washington, Saturday, as cold as 20, as warm as 28. Maybe up in Seattle, 25 is a better number. You can make the case that temperatures will be colder, but I feel like this is kind of where the modeling is showing the best chance right now. Now, I mentioned still some differences between the GFS and the Euro. What kind of difference are we talking about? Well, Sunday high temperature, if you look at the Euro model, I'm not talking about taking the model output, the guidance temperatures. I'm saying if you take the 5,000 foot 850 millibar temperature and you take what we call the thickness densities and you mix out your own temperature forecast, if you do it the old fashioned way, you will come up with a temperature in Portland on the European model of only 16 degrees for a high. The GFS model, a lot warmer. In fact, maybe up to 32 or 34. So that's quite a difference. And obviously right now, this far out, no real good reason to say one model is going to be more accurate than the other. The reality is it's probably going to end up being somewhere in the middle. Snow chances on Sunday is an unknown. Some models show it, some don't. And again, air may be just too dry. Cold pattern, meaning significantly colder than normal, could run through about the 20th of January. Multiple models show that. Now, real quick, I do want to mention, if you're wondering, the coldest temperature all time in Portland, the all-time record low out of PDX is 3 degrees below zero. That was in the cold winter, February of 1950. Now, obviously, to get 3 degrees below zero, you would need clear skies. You would need absolutely calm winds, and you would probably be pretty close to the center of a high pressure zone itself. That's not the case this time. So no way we're going to get that. This is interesting. The coldest high temperature. So the record for the coldest high temperature during the day, 15 degrees. That was in February again, but it was in 1989. Now, if you go by the European model, that 15-degree record seems to be, obtainable, right? So that's something that we're watching as well. All right. And with all that said, I just didn't want to get into a lot of stuff tonight. Here's the 7-day forecast. We have the heavy rain band tonight. We have the scattered heavy downpour showers with hail tomorrow. Portland's forecast low 39 tonight, 45 tomorrow. Some breezy winds, especially gusty overnight tonight. Sunday, a shower chance. Probably there will be some showers around, but overall, it's a pretty quiet day, okay? 35 to 44. Monday, rain picks up. Now, Monday's a warm front. It's interesting because the snow level could go up to 5,000 feet. Remember, I showed you that on the ski forecast. This could be on Monday easily. Some of the modeling is showing a quarter or half of an inch of rain. It's a pretty rainy day for Portland, maybe steady rain most of the day. Then there's a strong front that comes in Tuesday. This has some gusty winds. It's possible that going into Tuesday morning, there could be a high wind warning along the Oregon coast with south gusts to 60 miles per hour and some gusty winds racing up the valley. It's a rainy day that has the potential to produce well over half an inch of rain. Some of the modeling shows we could get 3/4 to an inch of rain up and down I-5, 40 to 44. Wednesday, not a storm, but occasional rain, 36 to 42. And then here's Thursday. Again, Thursday, snow levels, even with the Arctic boundary holding to our north, could be down close to 1,000 feet or 1,200 feet. So if you live up in elevation in Oregon or Washington, that could be some, maybe not sticking, but at least snow in the air for sure. And then we have what I feel is still the most likely bet that there will be some sticking snow Thursday night and the Friday. Right now, I've got Friday's high at 32. Obviously, if the Arctic front drops well to our south by Friday morning, there's plenty of room for this to be even colder. Maybe it's a high only in the 20s, maybe the lows in the low 20s. So again, we're going to see a lot of fluctuations in the modeling. We're already seeing a lot of fluctuations in what the capacity is for the temperature to be either this warm or maybe a lot colder. So that's the way it's going to be, at least for several more days. For now, I'm meteorologist Rod Hill. Please hit subscribe if you haven't to my YouTube channel. Tell your friends about it. My weather site's portlandweather.com. I appreciate you folks up in Seattle watching. I'll try to start looking more carefully at your forecast and start mixing more nuggets of information in for you as well. For now, have a good Friday night.